Hey, Shalom, guys. I'm going to do another episode of Who is the Suffering Servant? Today, we're going to be looking at Isaiah chapter 52, verse 15, and this is what it says. So he will sprinkle many nations. Kings will shut their mouths on account of him. For what they had not been told, they will see, and what they have not heard, they will understand. So, what does it mean that the Messiah will sprinkle many nations? From apostolic point of view, the sprinkling alludes to the Torah's sin offering procedures and purification rituals, right? Such as the ceremony of sprinkling with the ash and water of the red heifer. So the nations are spiritually washed and sanctified by the Messiah. The Messiah saves us by, quote, the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Holy Spirit. And this comes from Titus chapter 3, verse 5. And through the sprinkled blood, which speaks better than the blood of Abel, Hebrews 12:24. And finally, this is the quote, sanctifying work of the Spirit to obey Yeshua the Messiah and be sprinkled with his blood. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 2. Another interpretation understands that Messiah will scatter the nations like one who splashes blood or water, similar to Targum Yonatan, Isaiah 52:15. Ibn Crispin takes it as a reference to the Messiah's teachings. Quote, for a speaker sprinkles and scatters his words towards his hearers. The Rambam here also explains this speech will drop or sprinkle down upon them, and they will open their mouth wide for the rain of his word. And the Rambam here alludes to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 12, and Ecclesiastes 10:20, and he combines those together from the references of the sprinkled down part. We also read in Job chapter 29, verse 22 through 23, and it says this: after my words, they did not speak again, and my speech dropped on them. They waited for me as for the rain and opened their mouth as for the spring rain. And in Deuteronomy 32:2, let my teaching drop as the rain, my speech distill as the dew, as the droplets of the fresh grass, and as the showers on the herb. So just as refreshing are the words going to be, so will be his sacrifice that he leads on to. Now, kings will shut their mouths as at King Messiah, right? So the leaders and the higher ups, they will obey the King Messiah. So as great as they are, there's one who is coming who will be greater. This prophecy lent itself to several different interpretations, that are complementary, not mutually exclusive. So here, this is what the Ramban Nachmanides says, that the Messiah will sprinkle the nation by means of teaching them his words. Now the nations will open their mouth to receive it, but the wicked kings of the nations will not open their mouths to receive his teaching. Instead, they will shut their mouths on account of him. And even in the chamber of their heart will be afraid to speak of him, saying each to his neighbor, even in thy thought, curse not a king. Alternatively, IBN Crispin says that, quote, kings will shut their mouth because from the vastness of his might and the number of his miracles and the greatness of the terror cast upon them, when he, quote, smites the earth with the rod of his mouth and with the breath of his lips slays the wicked, they will be amazed at the rebuke as to close their mouth and not to speak, basically be frozen in time at what he does. When he comes to fight against the kings and to redeem Israel from their power, they will shut their mouth in silent amazement, seeing in him marvels which had never been told to them, and discerning high attributes which before they have never heard of. Now, Maimonides, the Rambam, says this: all the kings of the earth will be thrown into terror at the fame of their kingdoms will be in consideration, and they themselves will be devising whether to oppose him with arms or to adopt some different course, confessing, in fact, their inability to contend with him or ignore his presence, and so confounded at the wonders which they will see him work, that they will lay their hands upon their mouth. Now, the Apostle Paul here understood Isaiah 52:15 to speak in general Gentile nations who had not yet received the gospel. In his epistle to the Romans, he quoted the Septuagint version of the passage as he expressed his desire to proclaim the gospel among the nations where the concept of Messiah had never yet been heard. So, this is from Isaiah chapter 52, verse 15, from the Septuagint or the LXX. Thus shall many nations wonder at him, and kings shall keep their mouth shut. For they to whom no report was brought concerning him shall see, and they who have not heard shall consider. And thus I aspire to preach the gospel, not where Christ was already named, so that I would not build on another man's foundation, but as it is written in 52:15, they who had no news of him shall see, and they have not heard shall understand. And that is from Romans chapter 15, verse 20 through 21. Now, as he talks about the sprinkling that comes down, we even see this in Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. When he comes preaching the law, actually talking about what the law actually means. What does it actually mean to actually follow the law? Where he breaks it down. He says, you must not commit adultery. But I say, if you look at a woman with lust, you've committed adultery. Or you've heard it say, do not commit murder. But I say unto you, if you hate your brother, you've already committed murder. So the people who were taking that in were like the ones with their mouth open, taking in what the Messiah was preaching. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you are enjoying the series so far. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the video in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Shalom.